one today. TJ, how you doing, man? What's going
I'm good.
on? Actually, pretty
Thanks
clean
for
one
having me
today.
on. Thanks for chatting.
Yeah, TJ, how you doing? And of course, without Brad, we would be nowhere really. Mr. Brad Chest.
Unbelievable.
And of course, without Brad, we
fucking
would be
echo
nowhere
here.
really. Mr. Brad Chest.
Unbelievable.
Is it unbelievable echo? What's the unbelievable?
echo?
Mr. Brad Chest.
I mean, I don't hear the echo, but
Which, there we go. Brad had echo. There was a fucking dick in this channel. It was me.
Usually me.
So now we don't have echo on this channel.
yeah.
All right. Count me down again.
Nah, we don't need a countdown. We're already live, bro.
Oh, great. We're doing it off the cuff.
That's what we do, dude. I do stuff with Alan a lot. Have you not seen how we roll with that?
Yes. Yes.
He's like,
Delightful.
oh yeah, we went live 5 minutes ago. You're like, okay, cool. Pretty sure I spent 5 minutes blowing my nose or something.
I was just doing that. Wow, that's weird.
Let's talk.
Let's
talk about
let's
Death
talk.
Guard.
Yeah, let's do that.
I'm gonna go super easy. I want to go
Oh,
super easy, barely an inconvenience. I want to go. I'm gonna go from the top. Let's just fucking scroll down. We watched several of the big people sites that have all kinds of people doing stuff for them.
you're the ones that get paid to be super positive about everything,
So
even though
they read everything out.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with the top. Let's just go top down from what they gave us. You know what I mean? Let's talk,
Sure.
Let's do
Let's do
secondary.
it.
Let's do secondaries. I thought the secondaries. I'm gonna TJ negative this shit on this one because I did not like the secondaries.
The secondaries are trash, actually.
I like the idea of despoiled.
No. They're trash. We're good. Next page.
Okay.
Oh.
I mean, come on.
I'm kidding.
Despoiled ground. Gives
I'm
an option.
kidding.
Despoiled.
Well, the issue with them is that you need to have again. Hi guys, we're gonna make you do mono codex. If you don't take mono codex, don't even bother with this page. Literally, you can't.
We're gonna go mono codex. We're gonna we're Death Guard, so we're going. Mono codex.
Oh,
We're friendly neighborhood Death Guard guys now.
oh, so the whole army's Death Guard all the time. That's the eyes that we're going through for this book.
Well, the guys that we're going through with this.
Sure. So if your whole army is Death Guard, the first one is extremely difficult to do because your opponent has to fail a morale check and you have to kill enemy units. So those are two extremely difficult things to do together. They honestly make no sense.
I actually don't like the fact that I wouldn't even mind if I was taking mortal wounds for corrupting the objective deal. It would be okay, except for the fact that I don't even auto-correct it or corrupt it. You know what I mean? It's in a 4-up. So
Not only that, but you have to do every objective, which means my slow-moving army literally has to get to every objective on the map. There could be no enemy units within 3 of the objective, which means it has to be a 6-objective game, and I have to corrupt 5 of them to score 15. Because that's ultimately what you're trying to do when you get this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So you're trying to score 15. You can't even do it. The best thing you could probably do is the one that has 2 objectives in the middle, 2 objectives on your side, and you can get both the objectives in the middle if you're just trouncing your opponent, which means you're going to get your 12.
Yeah, Battlefield Supremacy, the despoiled ground one, is actually one that you could score some points on. That is the one that everything is the end game, but you have to be kind of kicking your opponent's ass. You have to be in three quarters. You have to take most of the objectives, and you get 4 for each. You know, for a total of 16 points. You know what I mean? So you, basically, if you get 3 of them, you're semi happy at 12. But
and then I played mine incorrectly yesterday because I got some games in, and I did not realize that they restricted the book even harder to say that you have to have a mono book. So I'm sitting here the whole game. I'm like, wow, this secondary is fucking great. This is awesome. And then we get to the end, or today, and someone was like, you have to do mono codex for those. I'm like, wait, why? I'm like, oh, okay, awesome. So you can't even take them if you soup at all.
I've decided not to. I drank the Kool-Aid, bro. I'm all about this mono book.
Yeah, okay, great.
I'm a mono book guy. I like
that makes one of us. All right. Anyway,
but let's talk about some of the easy peasy things. Disease minions, infernal jealousy, fetid Varian. I don't even know what that word is. And my favorite, inexorable advance.
So you mean
Basically,
The rage
one lord, basically the same thing where you got Marines, where you got one captain kind of deal, and then you can't take any more plague followers than you take basically real guys. Bubonic, Astartes, core infantry, so plague lords. So you can't take
more disappointment. Yeah, more disappointment.
Can't take more Poxwalkers. I want to go with again. This feels like my Salamander army, but tankier.
Yeah, except that you don't. The Salamanders, you can take whatever you want, and you're fine. I don't get forced into taking stuff to make my army good. Once again,
is there any way to turn up your volume? Hold, please.
I just feel like it's another, Games Workshop telling you what to do. And that's frustrating to me because, again, I like to, what's the point in making, if you want me to play a Highlander, you want me to play certain units, just tell me to play certain units. Don't try to make this weird, behind-the-scenes nerf. Restriction, not nerf. It's just frustrating that they would just restrict the book for no reason. What, or Poxwalkers, dominating the meta? No.
Domination.
Or just dominating the meta. I just, I'm just saying, I would love there to be a reason why this mattered, other than Games Workshop's well, I really want to sell kits.
I think they wanted armies to look more like armies out there. No, seriously.
Poxwalkers are armies.
No. I'm saying the armies, as they are in the fluff, they're a big thing on the IP and everything else. I know
that's not true either, because in the fluff, Death Guard literally roam around with demons. Oh, and who isn't in the book? Demons. There are no demons in the book, so that it's not even fluff oriented.
I'm just saying what I'm just saying what I'm looking for reasons as far as that.
Sure. I mean, if you search extremely hard for these reasons, I'm sure you could find them. But we're the only ones that get these restrictions, and in the first Chaos book of the edition, that scares me a lot. What are you going to do? Restrict? You're going to tell me I have to play a certain amount of Zangors or a certain amount of Scarab Occult Terminators? That would scare me, because those guys are not what plays in the book. They've never been what plays in the book. So that's frustrating to me. Just me.
Yeah.
I marine the shit out of my list.
If this is again,
I've got green guys already. I could just make those guys plague. I'm good.
If you just want to play Space Marines, then I guess
I'll have Snakes put a little Nurgle hat on all of my Salamanders, so I can just stick it on top of them when I want to play Plague Marines.
Look at TJ's face, is disgust. He's ugh.
Hey man, I'm a Plague Marine now. Beep. He's is that an Ohio State cap? Same thing.
So let's talk about. So we've kind of poo-pooed on some stuff, and let's be fair. There is some good things, and I'd like.
Besides not being able to soup, let's talk about.
Yeah, let's talk about
the stuff that we like in the list. Let's talk about. Let's just roll down. We'll go top to bottom. You know what I mean? We'll hit on a few of the things.
Yeah.
There's good stuff in the list. It's just you decided to touch on the first three terrible things.
I'm literally going as the Codex folds out. So
that's odd. That's just odd.
Let's talk about plague companies. Plague companies actually mean a big deal to me also, because we'll talk about the very tip top, and then we're going to talk about the very bottom, which is Morty, because Morty
Photid Virulent is actually really good, because having any character you want in your army is actually good. So that's probably the only good part about that list is I can take as many elites as I want.
Yeah, because they literally take one at a time.
Right. Cool. You take one of every character, and it counts as one slot. So it makes it easy to make lists, because you're going to want to take these characters because they're quite good.
They've got some serious beats. The plague companies mean a big deal because, in all seriousness, I do like the fact that one, Morty's a badass. He is big dick swinging. You know what I mean?
Well, let's not talk about Morty.
I know, but the things about it is that gives him the little bit of extra mojo is he gets his standard shit, and then he also gets to choose one of these seven company warlord traits. In which,
yeah, but he doesn't have to have that like they don't have to be in that company to give him the warlord.
No. That's what I'm saying. But I'm saying that the warlord traits from these companies are intriguing also, just because of the fact that a couple of them are okay, but the warlord traits really, really cool. So, yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna go into this, and we'll go into some sample builds and things that we really like in just a smidge here. I was just kind of scrolling down the way. What's your play company of choice, TJ? Any of them?
Oh, look at this.
He just goes, ugh. He's like, I hurt a little bit inside.
I mean, that's definitely true. Anvil's probably the best for the builds that you're going to want to take. Wretched's bad.
I do like Anvil.
Poxwalkers, bad. Ferryman, bad. Chosen Sons is pretty good too. If you're going to take, yes, good.
I actually liked Morty with the Chosen Sons warlord trait though, man. If you're playing any type of shooting, you know what I'm saying? Because literally, if he gets within contagion range and you're playing any sort of guns, because
Brad, are you high? Are you okay over there?
Dude,
did you say the one that gives him ignores cover is good?
If you're playing, you know what? You have to settle yourself down, or you're gonna get a timeout, TJ. If you're playing,
like, I don't even understand.
I love it. Dude, I love this. Why are you doing this to TJ? Can't you see he's still in mourning? Too soon, Brad.
Yeah, bro.
No, but if you're bringing some pew pew, and you're already making people -1 to their toughness, and then you take away their cover, you're actually getting a decent amount of shots through. It's a different style of list.
Like, you want to keep Morty alive. That's not a trait that keeps Morty alive.
Oh, I'm not keeping Morty alive. I'm fucking Leroy Jenkinsing fucking Morty.
Well, then you want to keep him the focus of firepower for a little longer than that. And giving him a trait that does nothing to boost him at all is just not a good idea. Like, at least take some of the good ones, like the best ones. Or at least do the movement one if you're going to mess up your opponent. Like, do something. But, like, ignore his cover. We're firing bolters, bro. Like, what?
I just wanted to throw that out there. That was actually in one.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Well,
that's in one of the articles, and fucking I wanted to see if I could get you to melt down a little bit, because that was actually the argument made, and I was like, "What shooty army am I making in Death Guard? Most everything. I just want to punch people in the face." I do want some.
Anvil's probably the best, I would say, and that is the best warlord trait for Mortarion in the game. I don't know of a better one. If you're playing mono.
Oh, it's so good. No Overwatch is insane, and no rerolls. I mean, I can't tell you that there's a better one than that. Just because I think that no matter what, somebody in my army is taking that. Obviously, if you're taking Morty, he's taking that now. Because no rerolls is boss mode. I mean, it's just, you've seen that shit happen in. Wolves are already taking that. Hell, it's one of the most devastating strats in Custodes. You know what I mean? Is not being able to reroll shit.
Oh yeah, it's one of the good parts of the book. And having all of your characters having all your infantry heroically intervene is very strong too. So Terminators heroically intervening is very, very good.
I'm still very sad that I could continue on without laughing too hard about the. No,
I apologize.
No cover. I was actually trying to make that work somehow when I first saw this, and I couldn't find any way that it made any difference to me.
Your chat still says playing games and all that stuff, by the way.
I don't know how to change that.
Okay.
Oh no, I can change the title. I just can't change what I'm playing. You know what? I'll change that. I'll ask a second question. We will go with, let's go. I want to talk about stratagems. And
we still got companies to go over. There are some good company stuff.
We got
keep going with companies then.
So
company.
Harbingers is really bad.
Only good. You're only allowed to say good companies. Though.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Only good. We're only talking good.
I just want to be honest. We're doing hot takes here.
But we're only doing the good takes. We're only telling people. Because we're telling people what they can get out of the book, not what they can't get out of the book.
I'm trying to make sure people go to the right place. It's important that they know to make sure what is going to be good and what's going to be bad. So there's just unequivocally got to be the good with the bad. I'm not saying everything's bad. We're about to get into stratagems. Some of them are very, very good. But I think Anvil's really good. I think that Chosen Sons is really good. And Ferryman is good if you are playing a mono Death Guard army, because you can slow down your opponent's army from basically scoring primaries by keeping them out of the center of the map, but basically slowing them down. So that's very strong as well.
Yeah, that's a cool gimmick. It's not a, I would call it.
It's not even a gimmick though, because it basically you put the Ultra Vox on a character, because it also, they've got the stratagem for adding 6 inches to the range, so you can literally make the Feel No Pain aura go 6 extra inches.
Yeah, so that's the good stuff in those. I would say those are the best. Yeah, I would say those are the best for that. So, okay, now we can talk about stratagems.
I'm literally going to go back to the thing, because I literally thought TJ was going to pass out when I kept trying to give him the cover. I stayed straight faced for like almost a full minute, though. I'm very proud of myself.
The issue is that, like, again, like, no disrespect to a lot of content creators, but like a lot of sometimes the content creators, you know, you got to be positive about everything.
That was literally in one of the articles. That's why I wanted to bring it up. But I quoted the article.
Definitely not. I'm honest about everything.
Oh no, I knew that you would hate that with 1,000 suns. I couldn't make it.
Not 1,000 suns. They're hopefully not touched for a while. I'd like to leave them alone.
Tell me what your go-tos. Like literally, let's go. We're gonna go the hot takes.
Best strats in the game. We'll just start to finish. Trench fighters.
I was just about to say trench fighters. Boom. One addition. We'll go with what they are. One additional attack with Plague Knives. It's just good. And having an extra attack. Bam.
Right. Yeah, it's good. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Obviously,
it's unbelievably good. We're going with the hot takes.
Right. Not good then. That's a hot take. Not good, because you're not taking Plague Marines. But we'll cover that later on. And you need to take Plague Marines for this. It literally only works for Plague Marines.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's an issue.
A couple of the things in a lot of the stratagems lately have been a little too specific in a lot of the books. I feel like they're...
This one is extremely specific.
Right. Death Guard Plague Marines. If you're bringing Plague Marines, it's actually a good strat. But you're probably never bringing a ton of it. If you bring a big unit, you might bring a big unit. Don't get me wrong.
You might bring 110 man, maybe.
Right.
I'm not a huge fan of them. But
if you're bringing a 10-man, it's going to. I'm going to go with the... So can we have Shooty Death Guard or not? Do I have to go Dark Angels if I want to play Shooty Chaos? Dark Angels Shooty is much better than...
Man, I apologize so much, Mr. Pope, that you think that Chaos has guns. I apologize. I apologize that you have been led astray into this... Just this terrible position you're in.
They left their guns back on the ship.
Yeah. They forgot they don't even know how to use drop pods. Like, why would you think they know how to use guns? Eradicators, they don't even know what that word is. They just keep getting shot. Neo, Morty, Terminators, and Poxwalkers, that's the list, bro. But we're gonna get to that. We're gonna come back to that. We're gonna talk about that.
Let's talk actual good stratagems, okay?
Yeah.
Eternal Hatred.
Second one's creeping. What?
We don't have to go through all of them. We're gonna go through
you wanted to go through strats.
Yeah, we're gonna go through good strats. We don't have to list every one of them. We're gonna go through the ones we like.
All right, cool, great.
We're gonna pick like the biggest stinkers, the biggest winners.
Sure. Fire Fever's pretty good if you want to run a Hellbrute and make him shoot well and wound well. That's not bad at all. Vermin Whisperers, you might as well just write that down on your arm, because you're going to be taking that all the goddamn time. That is the shit.
And which one is
Plus
that?
one to hit.
Yeah.
Yeah, what does
Plus
that
one
do?
hit for your Terminators.
Yeah, we want to talk about what it is when we talk about it. It's plus one to hit
for your Terminators.
And Eternal Hatred is plus one to wound.
Yeah, so Haze of Corruption is another one you're going to write on your arm. You're going to keep it on there. That basically allows your flails to do the thing that they did before, which is excess damage to spill over on other models. So you're going to need to use that once a game. Eternal Hatred is Vets of the Long War in a weird... Why they needed to change the name, I don't know. But it's 2 CP now.
I was just about to say, it's Vets of the Long War. It's just 2 CP.
2 CP, yeah.
And we will be going on our overall thoughts on this. We're going to do it in a very long-winded style because
2 CP for +1 a wound feels really bad, especially since Space Marines literally do it for 1 CP. That just feels bad. But we still have it at least. At least it's not completely dead. Mutant Strain, super good. What a strat. What a strat.
So Mutant Strain's basically a hit roll of 6 does a mortal wound. We're talking about Poxwalkers.
Yeah.
Each time they make an unmodified hit roll is why it's so cool. Inflicts 1 mortal wound on the target in addition to any normal damage. Unmodified hit roll of 1 inflicts 1 mortal wound on the Poxwalker units after the fight is resolved.
Yeah. So super good, super strong, especially when you're going to be running around with Poxwalkers, because 20 Poxwalkers punching is actually really good. So that's 40 attacks. And you're going to roll at least 4 or 5 mortal wounds, and then you're probably going to wound like 4 or 5 times as well. So that's super strong. I like that a lot.
I actually think that you're right about the Salamanders +1 probably going up in CP right now, because most +1 to wounds strats are 2 CP right now, the ones that are coming out. So
yeah, but I'm just saying, like right now, I don't know why it would go up, because they've already written the book. They should have changed it the first time. But
no, the +1 to wounds in the Salamanders supplement.
Oh, the little supplement. Mm-hmm. Okay, so maybe we'll go to 2 CP, and that will be fine.
Yeah.
So, the bottom one, Disease Effluence. What a bomb diggity strat. Oh, what a great strat. If only you could use it on Morty, but that's okay. So you take a mortal wound, your character takes a mortal wound, and then the enemy that's in engagement range takes 2d3 mortal wounds.
Yeah, that's gross.
Super good. I mean, if you want something dead, that's the way to do it. I mean, you only take 1 mortal wound. It's not the worst thing in the world. You'll be fine. And 2d3 makes sure that you can kill a unit that you wanted to kill. So it just kind of like confirms.
It's not a character killer, because the character killers, character's D3 for characters. But it's, I mean, I'm so willing to roll in. This thing's a monster. You take a prince into a unit, and
whoa, Brad, we don't say the P word in here. Okay.
Sorry. Tell you the truth. I lied, because I keep forgetting it's not demon models on that. But you take a lord.
Yeah, you can't even do it. Brad's just lying to you. Yeah. That's what's going on right now.
Trying to make you feel better.
I was, because in my mind, I kept trying to do that every time I was.
So it's really good on a Lord of Virulence. Like, it is the shit on a Lord of Virulence. He's got a Power Fist already. He's going in there and messing some people up, and just to add insult to injury, he's going to do some extra mortal wounds. So that one's just super
crazy. 2d3 extra mortal wounds is just destroying a squad, basically. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's
then we skip the next 2. Release the Toxins, not bad. Release of Toxins allows you to basically, a guy that has a relic, he does mortal wounds. Yeah. So that's pretty good.
I was actually debating. I was debating on this in an army. I haven't got the secret sauce for it though. I was debating on trying to take everything that could possibly do mortal wounds, and just do more. You know what I mean? To really try to up the damage of your Death Guard. And I think that I might have some of that. Because you're looking at, attacks that do mortal wounds, strats that give me more mortal wounds, and then people that just auto do mortal wounds. I felt that there's a decent amount of mortal wounds in this book.
Yeah, that's definitely true. So that's definitely something. That's definitely one you're going to take. Super good. The next one we're not going to talk about. We're just going to skip that one. Champion Disease is a weird one that you'll probably only take if you're going to take Death Shrouds. It basically allows you to take a champion model, because they're getting really specific now. So a champion model, and only a champion model, can get one of these relics to use. It doesn't feel good, and I'll explain. You're never going to use the plate, because the guy that you're going to give a relic to is a Terminator, right? That's the guy. He's probably the best. He's 3 wounds, -1 damage. So you're never going to take plate, because it gives you a 2+ armor anyway. So you don't need 2+, because you already got 2+. And then The Reaper is for Death Shrouds, so again, that's what I said, you're going to take it for Death Shrouds, and then the Plaguebringer is also for Death Shrouds, or if you put it on your Sergeant in a Space Marines, in your Blight Lords, it gives you basically a 2 damage Relic sword. So that's pretty good too, that's not bad. But I don't know that you'd spend 1 CP on one squad to get one special weapon. Next one, super powerful, gets to decay. We don't really need to talk too much about that. You just spend a CP, get a relic.
Yeah, those are just like different. The ones that everybody gets that you are just make it different. I do like the fact that they made orbital bombardment also a different. It's blight bombardment. You're like, okay.
Oh yeah, so very bad. There's even a typo in there. It's awesome. So Plague Chosen super good. Give yourself a warlord trait. I definitely do that. Grandfatherly influence is really cool if you're gonna play Spawn. I'm not super sold on Spawn being like very powerful, but adding +1 to them, which makes them toughness 6, and giving them resilience makes them real nice. I'm not sure that they're going to see a place because they are expensive in points, and they don't do anything in the list. Like they don't have, like they don't hold points very well.
Well, let's. I want to talk about Cloud of Flies.
Sure.
You're like, sure.
So yeah, so they're 4 wounds, and they'll go to toughness 6. So 4 wounds at what, 23 points a model. I'm not sure that's really going to sell me on them, but that's good for them.
It's basically conceal Cloud of Flies. Just...
Oh, I was just talking about the Spawn thing. So
Cloud
of Flies. I apologize. I just want to start off the stream on a positive note. And I want to apologize to everybody that I wronged in a previous game and or tournament or a GT, because I feel like Games Workshop just watched all my games and they were like, wow, that's broken as fuck. I'm just gonna nerf the shit out of it. Wow, they should never be able to do that. And like, I definitely did this all the time. This was the go-to. I definitely caused this. Me and Jim, we definitely caused this. I apologize to everyone on the stream. Here, you heard it here first. My bad. I'll try not to nerf anything in the future.
So you're saying that it's a little bit worse than it used to be.
So I do want to understand something. So we increased. I get that you want me to run mono book, and maybe you think that if I run mono book, I just have CP coming out of my ass. But I assure you that I don't. And 4 CP for a strat that literally just makes them untargetable, like, wow, I could see if it was like a Vect, but it's not. It's just to make them untargetable for 1 turn. I don't know, man. That's pretty expensive. 4 CP? You couldn't just make that 3 CP? Maybe 3 CP, I would have swallowed it and maybe done it once.
I would have liked to see it 1-2, tell you the truth.
1-2 would have been fine. But yeah, here we are at 2 CP and 4 CP.
I'm not going to lie. I don't know how much I would want to spend 4 CP as opposed to just going, maybe I'll just deploy them behind a wall.
Yeah, maybe I'll just get them somewhere that they shouldn't be. Maybe I'll just keep them off the table for free. So that's that one. Blight Bombardment's really funny because Blight Bombardment literally, I think they missed a section in Blight Bombardment where they were like, you are excluded if you are Death Guard and or Nurgle. Do you know right now that it just explodes and does damage to everyone, not just enemy models? They just forgot to put Nurgle in there, or Death Guard, or any ability. It just literally explodes and hits everybody right now.
Kaboom. Yeah,
so they probably are going to FAQ that. If I was a betting man, I would say they'd FAQ that, because it literally makes no sense. So that's that one. Thanks for breaking my spirits with that new strat. Break Their Spirits is good. The only issue with it is it's unclear. The only time you'd ever use it is when you beat, when someone's used the auto pass morale strat already. Because if you spend a strat to make them -4, and by the way, it's in the fight phase. So like,
Yeah, they know that it's coming up now.
They know it's coming. They're going to auto pass morale. I mean, I guess if you want to bait them to spend 2 CP, cool, but just wait until they all do it, and then you do it. Like, that's much, much better. Dark Cravings is great if you have a blow drone. The only issue I have with that is, like, he knows you have it, so he'll just move away, and, like, you're never going to heroic intervene.
I'm not gonna. I do like the option. This is more of a. I'm never gonna probably do this, but
correct.
But
yeah,
having
write this on your hand.
You
probably want to write this on like your leg or something.
No, but I would let my opponent know it though, because then they have to worry about it the whole game when you probably never even think about it after that because you're running a
or they just shoot it with an eradicator and then it dies, but
because yeah.
So that's that one. Demonic Gluttony's pretty good if that drone actually lived through the eradicator nonsense. Flash Outbreak.
You get to regen wounds on that.
Yeah, you regen 3 wounds when you kill one wound per model killed, up to a maximum of 3. So Flash Outbreak's awesome, super good. Basically, give yourself a contagion that you didn't have already. Except that if you're not running mono, you can't do it.
We're running mono already. We're running mono Death Guard right now, TJ.
I'm not. So, like, let's just be honest with people and tell them that I'm not running mono. You'll see it when we play the no open. It's not mono. All right. So then, exploding vehicles still a thing. Foul smoke screen -1 to hit. If you're gonna still play haulers, then it's still good. The Blightning. Goddamn. You gave me something, okay? You gave me a little.
I've been waiting for this to get there. I'm literally staring at this particular.
Okay, sorry.
What is it? First of all, tell us what it is.
Exactly.
So the Blightning is a fantastic strat. I wish the rest of the book was written in the care that this strat was written. So basically, select 3 Death Guard models in your army. They can be characters. Cool, great, or they can just be infantry. Until the end of the phase, plague weapons with the grenade type that those models are equipped with. They basically gain
Pistol 6.
They lose the blast ability. They gain Pistol 6, and then each time the model attacks with one of those weapons, and they're in combat, so in engagement range, they just automatically hit.
Ooh.
So you just pick up 18 grenades and throw them at your opponent's face.
Well, you don't really pick them up and throw them. You just basically stuff them down their throat and make them eat them because they auto hit. So it's good. It's good.
Yeah, so that's super good. And then if you take a Biologist Putrefier, he can make all those grenades 2 damage and +1 AP. So that would be pretty good. That's strong. Overwhelming Generosity. Thanks for giving me something. Like, I appreciate you leaving that strat in the game. So +6 inches to my plague weapons. Thanks for that. I really appreciate having at least something retained from the previous book.
Well, let's scroll down again and tell me what's your first take. What are the good? Is there any pathogen that you like that you're putting in your army?
Oh, we're already in pathogens.
That was the last stratagem. We're not going to talk about the bad stuff. We're going to talk about the good hot takes.
There's a strat that's awesome right below that one. There's 2 below that one.
That is true.
Virulent Rounds gives your bolt weapons plague weapons. So having plague weapon bolters is very, very strong.
The bad stuff.
Yeah, they kept that, so that's good. And then Disgusting Force is great if you're going to play a Plague Burst Crawler. Makes your Plague Burst Crawler super efficient. Makes his mortar 3 damage flat and does mortal wounds on a 4+ to all units around within 3 inches of the unit that you targeted. So that's super good for 1 CP. If you're just spending 160 points on a Plague Burst Crawler, that makes that Plague Burst Crawler super, super dependable. He's going to do damage every turn.
I love it. More TJ Salt, please.
Oh, we're going to give TJ a time with a box. He's going to get up there, and he's going to start going.
So, Deadly Pathogens. So I guess, like, this is my reward for playing Death Guard, right? Like, I guess this is like Space Marines. They get a Chief Apothecary. I get to put some gunk on my weapons and make them a little stronger.
My problem with the deadly pathogens is they all have all right abilities, but I don't know if I want to spend, like, for instance, like explosive outbreak. I don't know if I want to spend 20 points for exploding sixes. It just, that's just a lot of points, man. Like, you know what I mean? I could start to get units of people in for exploding sixes on a guy.
That's where I'm at right now with my current Death Guard list. Is like, do I want to spend 40 points on 2 upgrades that are probably pretty strong, but do we do that, right? Because that's almost a Poxwalker unit.
I mean, corrosive filth, it would be good if it wasn't just only vehicles. You know what I mean?
Correct. Oh, man, if it was... okay.
That's the one, guys, that's +1 damage, your damage characteristic of the attack, but against vehicles. Right. So it's one of... And these are just... Go ahead.
I was just going to say, so 20 points for acidic malady, -1 AP to the weapon of your plague weapon. No. Explosive outbreak. Yes. Yes. All day, yes. Except that you have Toll Keeper, so you probably won't even take that. If you're not taking a Tallyman, I need you to see me after class. We're gonna sit down and we're gonna talk about some shit.
Why are we not taking the Tallyman?
Yeah, right. That's the conversation. I need to know what your thought process is and why you're not taking that relic if you're taking Tallyman. But I think explosive outbreak's great if you want to go off on your own and you don't want to go near the thing. So the only guy that comes to mind is probably like maybe like a foul blight spawn that you want to take more than one foul blight spawn. So one stays with the pack and then the other one goes and does stuff.
Things.
Fever is the bomb diggity. Virulent Fever is exploding sixes to wound.
I like this one a ton.
You mortal wounds. That one's happening. Like we're doing that one.
And you can then go with the what's his face also and just fuck.
There might just be a guy who I don't know has like a 2d6 flamer attached to his arm. It makes it really good. So you're gonna take that. Befouling Runoff is apparently Brad's favorite ability. Ignores cover. Apparently Brad's really into that. You heard it here, folks.
That was so funny. I'm not gonna lie. The best was you waited to have me say the whole thing, and I was trying not to laugh the whole time, and you were just sitting there like you just bit into an ass-flavored lemon. It was just like sitting there.
It's kind of, I mean, we've kind of been force-fed this weekend by people who are very, very optimistic about this.
Oh, it's fantastic, though.
Don't talk the real truths. But here in Fireside Chat, Casa de Brad, we talk the real truth.
It was just so good. I'm not gonna lie, so good.
Unstable sickness. So unstable sickness is a really unfortunate one. It could have been so good, but instead they were like, what if we cap the mortal wounds at 3? And I don't really know why they capped the mortal wounds at 3.
That's the standard now, though, with those. They did the same thing with Salamander Flamer Mortals. Two other strats, they did the same thing, too. And
it's not really that crazy because 3 mortal wounds. The only guy who would do it is, again, the same guy who does the mortal wounds. So you're going to want to take the mortal wounds 90% of the time. So if you spend 20 points, that's the 20 points you spent.
But I'm not going to lie. This is, again, where I'm focused, guys, on my initial hot takes of this. We're going to go more. We're going to keep scrolling down the book, basically. But
yeah. So Viscous Death is reroll all your hits. Yeah. That one's
no, but like
only 10 points.
I really like I think my first go as far as, I mean, obviously you got more games, more weeks, more play, more everything. But my first thoughts on a Death Guard list is there's a lot of ways to do mortals. And all of them don't really nerf anything else I want to do with the list. So yeah, I like.
You just got to take them.
Yeah, I think that's that is your damage. You know what I'm saying? Like you're going in.
So I'm going to take the flamer that does the mortal wounds. I'm going to take the characters that can run up and do mortal wounds to people. I'm going to take spells that do mortal wounds. I'm going to do whatever I can to increase the mortal wounds.
I 100% agree. Let's
go to these warlord traits. Let's talk about these warlord traits.
Did we talk about the ones that Morty already has?
No, we don't need to talk about Morty. No one needs to know about Morty. Please, if we talk about Morty in the stream, Games Workshop's going to literally nerf the only thing that's playable in the book. Let's just not talk about Morty at all.
No, we got to. We owe it to the audience.
Let's go. Ready? Warlord trait. 5+ fear, no pain. Seems pretty good.
Yeah, it seems great. If only there was a Primarch that had already a 5+ fear, no pain, which means you can't take it if you're taking Morty. And for the record, before we go any further into the book, if you're not building a 1,500 point list and then you slide Morty in, I need to know what you're talking. Like,
he is a motherfucker, by the way.
Like what you're smoking. Yeah. See? Segs knows. He knows. Morty shit. Introduction now. Yeah.
I love everything about that.
There are people on Reddit right now saying that Morty needs to be like 800 points. Like, he needs to go up in points. He's too cheap for what he does, even though he's a fourth of your army. So anyway, Morty's got 3 of these. He's got 5+ feel no pain, while enemy units within 6 of this. He's got Arch Contaminator, which is super strong now. Basically, you can make a unit within 12 inches, reroll the wound roll in shooting, and in melee, you can reroll within 6 if you're within 6 of him.
All wounds,
which will never happen because you're not going to be there. The 12-inch might happen. But you're probably not going to be within 6 inches of Morty. I can't imagine that he's going to be anywhere near you because he's just going to go off and do Morty things. It's the adventures of Rick and Morty, and you're Rick. And
He's Morty.
Yeah, Morty is Morty.
Morty's significantly tougher than he is in the show, man.
Yeah.
He got an upgrade.
Well, I don't know. He's got clones in the show. He doesn't die often, so I mean, like...
He doesn't die often.
Yeah, so Living Plague, he also has is his other one, which is while enemy units are within 3, they cannot be affected by aura abilities, which is super strong, which when coupled with...
the fact that he also starts off on turn 4 for his contamination.
Right, so if you couple that with the fact that no rerolls, no Overwatch for his warlord trait, I can't see you taking anything else. It's just too good.
It's that was saying. Besides me trying to troll you, that is the auto. The thing that I took.
That's the only one you want to take. The only other one 100%. You can make an argument about is halving everyone's movement. It would be designed to basically half your opponent's movement.
I could see messing with it, but it's just hard for me not to make a quarter of my army more durable. You know what I mean?
That's the thing. So I spend a CP in my list currently, and I give one of my guys one of these abilities as well. The Lord of Virulence with Hulking Presence makes him 7 wounds, and he can only be wounded on 4+, is super strong. He is the bomb diggity. If you haven't tried a Lord of Virulence or looked at him, then you need to. Except, there's a caveat here. He does nothing for demon engines. I don't know what the Games Workshop guys were doing when they decided to write that in their article, but he literally does not do anything to demon engines. Like 100%, nothing. So I don't know what they were smoking that day when they wrote that article. Probably the same thing they were smoking when they decided to tell everybody that possessed are going up a wound. Because that was in the article as well. They don't do that either.
No, they did not.
No, they did not.
So what's your go-to relic?
What?
What's your go-to relic?
Oh, baby. There's some bomb diggity relics in here. So, Demon's Toll is one of the best relics in the game that you will never use. So good. It is so good. Like, it is so amazing. Just on a 2+, you tell a unit they can't fall back. So strong. Like, you can just keep things locked up. Oh, man, it's amazing. Except that you have to take a Blightbringer, and then you have to spend a CP on a relic. And you're just not going to do that. Blightbringer, we'll get to him, but he's not anything super important to the list. He's not bad, but he's an 80-point I could put something else in the list. So that's that one. Fulgur's helmet. Oh yeah, plus 3 inches to the range of all my aura abilities. We're talking 6-inch, 6-up, feel no pain for my surgeon. Spoiler alert: there's a 6-up, feel no pain aura. You're going to take that one.
And you're taking it.
And you're taking it because you don't have a choice. These are non-conversation pieces. You're just going to do it. And here we get to Tollkeeper, probably the best relic in the whole book. So you're going to put it on a Tallyman, and what it does is, while friendly core unit within 6 of the bearer, each time a model in that unit makes a ranged attack, an unmodified hit scores of a 6 scores an additional hit. So
I like this ability a lot, just because, especially when you're shooting your volume weapons, you just get a lot of chances when you're shooting bolters and whatever, you know what I mean? Whatever basically you're shooting that's just shooting a volume, it's you just get more. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You're hitting on 2s with most things that you want to shoot, the volume of fire that you're trying to do. Hitting on 2s, re-rolling 1s, and then you can make yourself +1 to wound. You get additional hits on 6s, and then if you roll 6s to wound with your plague weapons, you get an additional wound. You get an additional AP, and then all that stuff is great. All that stuff is super, super strong. You're going to want to do this. It's literally a relic that you're going to take. So those are the relics. A little disappointed that there's only 1 page of relics, and then they only have another 7 after that. So really, we got a very low number of relics. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, plus the 7 for the companies, which
I am very disappointed in where the plate went.
The what?
Suppurating plate.
Oh yeah, my boy. They've massacred.
I used to love that in Death Guard. It's one of my favorites.
I don't even understand why it needed to get nerfed. Where they just don't like mortal wounds. Just make it on a 5+.
No, that's the weird thing, man. We've got so many ways to do mortal wounds in this Death Guard book. I actually think that's one of the strengths. And then they took just like a classic, relic, and just kind of made it meh. You know what I mean?
Now, if you wanted me to take Demon Princes, this was the way to do it. You wanted me to take a Demon Prince, this is how you did it. This is how you would have done it. But unfortunately, we got some crappy plate that basically, they took the separating plate, and then they ripped the demon out of it, and then they just gave it back to us.
Yeah,
so now
it gives
now
you
what
the
it
2
does
up.
is every time you take a wound, your opponent takes a wound on a 2+. So you're only as survivable as if you're a 7-wound model, you can only deal 7 wounds back. That's it.
It's just crazy.
So it's really not that. It's really not that good. Yeah. Plaguebringer is the one that you could take to just put on somebody. It's not bad. Again, it's a sergeant weapon, +2 strength, -3, 2 damage. It's not crazy. It's good. It's a solid weapon. Would I spend an entire relic on it? I don't think so.
Same thing on that.
The skull's pretty good. They made this. They powered up the skull, and that's quite good. Except it's still obviously once per game. So you pick an enemy within 6. You roll 7 d6s on a 4 to 5. They suffer 1 mortal wound. On a 6, they suffer d3. Again, mortal wounds.
I like it, but I don't like spending CP on pre-game stuff that's once a game. You know what I mean? I try to look for efficiency, and
that makes me feel bad. So now we'll go to spells.
Miasma.
You're going to take it. Morty's going to take it. You literally don't have a choice.
Yeah, this is another one of those checkmark boxes that just auto gets done.
This was the bare minimum for Games Workshop. If this wasn't in the book, I don't know. Vitality and Miasma, if these 2 weren't in the book, there was going to be riots in the streets. Things were going to happen. We're going to get to something that should have been in the book that isn't in the book now. But Gifted Contagion, still in the book. Why? Who knows? Still in here, though.
Also,
so now
why is it an 8+ instead of shouldn't these all just be on a 7+?
7? Yeah, that would make sense. So now it is, if you roll, it goes off on a 5. It minuses 1 from the strength characteristics. Now, let me just explain something to everybody. Strength characteristics, 50% to 60% of the time, don't even matter, because your opponent is shooting at you. He is shooting you with guns, and your strength does not matter. So you are getting shot with guns. Like, wow, it'd be really nice if I could just lower your strength on your melee that you're not going to melee me with. Because the only army that wants to get into melee is Chaos. So unless you're playing like a Chaos mirror match, it's really not that helpful.
What about Plague Wind?
Anyway, if you roll higher, it does strength and attacks. Now it's pretty good, except that you have to roll an 8, which, yeah, okay, cool. Well, we covered that. So then we go to Plague Wind. Plague Wind is super good if you're running mono book. Because now they kind of increase what it does. So basically, you roll 1 die for each model in the squad. On a 6, they suffer a mortal wound. If the result of the test apparently has to be a 9 or higher, it's even worse. They can't even keep consistent numbers. Like, if the whole thing was like, if you roll an 8+, you get the better version. They were like, this has to be an 8+.
Plague Wind is can be pretty brutal on big units. You know what I mean? If somebody's if Horde,
it's super strong, but there is an issue. We already went over the strats. There is no strat to change your spell around, which means, once again, another spell that you'll never take because you just will never want to use it because the other ones are just better. Vitality's Vitality. Thankfully, they didn't change that. Thank God.
Add 1 to the strength and toughness of a unit, basically.
Yep, exactly the same as it was last game. Thank you for not changing some things. Curse of the Leper is better because if you're mono book, you lower toughness, but it's the same thing now. So, not going to take that. And then they added a new spell.
But it's super good.
Let me just pause a moment. I have a desk here, so let me see if I can do this right.
Are you gonna flip it?
I'm gonna pour one out for the homies. We're just gonna pour one out for all the homies for Blades because it's not in the book. It doesn't exist. It's not a spell anymore. Great, awesome. I don't know who in their marketing was like, "Yo, that spell too powerful. We gotta get rid of that spell." But apparently somebody convinced them to do it, and it doesn't exist anymore. Instead, we have Gift of Plagues, which is a checkmark spell. You're just going to take it with Morty because it makes them better. So charge value 6, pick a unit, friendly Death Guard unit within 18 of this Psyker, and he's going to pick himself, and then you just add 6 to the range of any Contagion abilities. So it makes his always goes 9-inch ability because he starts on turn 4 and just adds 3 inches to his spell. So it makes it a 12-inch spell. 12-inch aura of no rerolls. Super strong. Let's just do that.
And then let's just go into the straight up Plague Company. I mean, there's Crusade stuff, guys, and have fun with your Crusade stuff. There are some really fun rules.
Yep, we're going to go into the next part.
And then we're going to skip that, though.
The data sheet part, which is abilities.
Yeah, and then the guys, the Plague Company themselves, Plague weapons are reroll wounds of 1. Remorseless, you ignore combat attrition modifiers. And then you've got, we no longer have 5 up no pain. You have -1 damage.
But Brad, where is my Death to the False Emperor?
Well, I think it's right next to Hateful Assault.
Oh, Brad, where is my Hateful Assault?
I must have forgot that. I guess.
I looked. I went through. What was it? Gate 9 3/4, and it must be right behind there. That's
great. Cool.
That's some Harry Potter shit. I don't know.
So somebody, once again, somebody in the marketing decided that we didn't need. We apparently have forgotten how much we hate the Imperium, guys. I just want to let you know, in Death Guard 2021, we are a faction that is really just really just cleared all the air. We're not mad at anybody anymore. We really don't hate the Emperor. So if you guys want to take us back in the Imperium, I mean, we play like a Space Marine army anyway. So if you want to just take us back, we could probably just be friends.
I mean, to be fair, Mortarion did kind of get dicked when he was flying through the warp. Nurgle kind of gave him a shitty deal.
So we're ready to come back. If you guys want to take us back, we're ready to come back because apparently we don't hate you anymore. We don't have Death to the False Emperor. Yeah.
Exactly. In the physical copy of the sheet of paper falls out in front of the cover, just like Space Wolves.
Yep. So that's really unfortunate. Really makes me upset because like you kept it on Space Marines, but apparently we weren't good enough to get it. And I get that they were like, yeah, but we gave you all +1 attacks. And all I'll say to that is, that's like minimum effort, because if you would have released the same book you just released for Space Marines, for the Death Guard that you released in the original 8th edition, and you would have given it to us now, it would not have been as... And then you nerfed all the things that you nerfed in this book, or changed them, nerfed them. And I get, listen, like, I'm not upset that they nerfed things. The book was extremely strong. Like, the original supplement/book was extremely strong, and I realize that 9th edition is kind of, they're trying to get rid of the feel-bad moments. I get all that. I'm there with you. However, Shock Assault, you literally introduced it to us, and then you just got rid of it. Like, what was the point in that? Like, we're going to try some stuff for a couple months, and if it doesn't work, it just doesn't work. Oh, it doesn't work. Fuck. Oh, God.
I'm not going to lie. I was very, very confused by that because, again, CSM, Death Guard, I mean, everybody from that, they're just Marines. They had the same deal. You know what I mean? So, at the base, they're corrupted Marines. They didn't lose anything. They actually gained shit.
I was talking to someone last night about this. The only thing I can think about, bless you, the only thing I can think about is that they just think that maybe Death Guard are too slow to get Shock Assault. Maybe Chaos Space Marines will get it. They just don't want Death Guard to get it because they're just slow and bulky.
They did give us a lot more attacks base.
Just one, just not a lot, just one.
No, sorry. They gave more attacks, so you're always getting them. But I felt like you were always getting them anyways. So
yep. So that was kind of unfortunate. So let's get into some actual data slates. Contagions. Contagions!
I like -1 to toughness, and I'll fight you for this one. I think it's good.
You can fight me all day. Why don't you just stay in that -1 toughness, and you can play your little mono book, and you can enjoy yourself. Over here in Rational Land, we're going to actually play things that win us games, which is not mono book.
As soon as I put those hats right on top of my salamanders to make them Death Guard.
So there's a couple issues with this. So the Contagion chart is very clear to me that they want you to play mono book. There is some inherent problems with mono book. And the biggest problem with mono book is movement. We are very slow, extremely slow. We don't get to things quickly, except for Morty. He moves twice as fast as our entire army. The rest of it is very slow. So it's going to be difficult for you to get to the middle of the board and still fire and want to fire and shoot guns and things like that. That's going to be difficult for you. So that's a problem.
Here's a question on this real quick, because I wanted to look into it. Forge World wise, do we have any guys that don't break mono that we could slip in that have access to warp time without breaking?
Nope. Next question.
I mean, no, that is a big deal because of the fact that it's kind of silly that we not having access to. I give you that. I like mono book except for not having access to several key things that I think are very chaotic.
You know, and I was very negative in the beginning of this because this is the frustration, right? You want me to have a mono book like Space Marines, but then you give me half of the options that Space Marines have, and you go, here you go, just take it. And I'm like, yes, but how do you expect it to work? And then you're like, and on top of that, we're going to restrict you guys by you can only do this and this and this, and you can only have this many. And it's like, okay. Now it's like 33% of the book. Like, come on, man. And we'll get to the 33% of the book that's like actually playable. It's more like 40%. But still, there are still options in the book you're never going to see on the table. Like a fucking Land Raider. You're never going to see that on the table. Yeah, I said the F word. Neil.
I do agree on that, Neil.
So that's really
no, because
really
I like but I'm an old man, so I've been playing back when you only had one detachment. You didn't have detachments. You had the force organization chart. There wasn't like a different one. You just had one. You had one book, and I'm still okay with that.
Again, if they wanted to go mono, they should have allowed you to summon. That's not even in the book. They literally, we're already on the data sheets, boys and girls, which means there's no summoning in the book. They don't even talk about it. So if you really like summoning your demons, better get used to not doing that because you're not going to be able to very, very soon. So that's disappointing as well. Like, I just feel like there are a lot of
I love all these. Aren't Death Guards supposed to be slow, given its speed and durability? Death Custodes? Death Scars? I love all of these.
Definitely not. Yeah. So, I mean, that's an issue with the army. It's incredibly slow. So you're going to have a problem getting to objectives. So while it's really cool that they want you to do mono, some access to warp time would have been really nice, even if they would have said it only affects core units. I don't mind. That's fine. So with the Contagions, the -1 toughness would be amazing if it wasn't your entire army has to be this. So that makes me sad.
Having a few things. I really, really want to play mono because I like these things, but I do. No, that's the thing is that I want to try to build some more mono lists, but I do have an issue because we're missing a few things that are pretty big, and also they're chaos spells. I don't understand why I don't have access to them, or at least have a guy. Can I take
one guy?
Can I take a Bellicor? Can I get just? That's why I said the Forge World. Can I get one of the, like dynastic agents, Necron kind of thing? Can I want to slot a guy in, you know what I mean, that can give me some access.
The only guy that you could do, and let me just see what he knows, because he might say he knows the Contagion stuff, but there's only one guy, and that is he's demons. I was thinking of Mammon, but Mammon is not Death Guard anymore. He's just Nurgle.
It just bugs me on that. I get you.
That bugs me a lot. And again, if you could tell me a way to play mono Death Guard and get warp time, I would all day. I'd play Death Guard all day, no problem. This book is definitely good enough with warp time. Without warp time, the book definitely lacks in the mobility department because your whole army moves 5 inches. Objectives start 15 inches away from you. You're not scoring any objectives on turn one or even contention.
Let's throw it on some data sheets.
Let's get into these data sheets. So let's do it. Demon Prince.
Why is my Demon Prince
nerfed?
Slow.
I'll say it. I'll say it.
Why? No, but in all seriousness, I'm not going to lie. I started making this, and I made mistakes when I first started looking at these, and I was building my list. I was like, oh, I'm going to take wings. I'm going to be 12. I'm going to do this. And I went, what the hell am I getting wings if I literally gain 2 inches of movement?
What's the point?
I get fly, but I'm not spending that much points if I'm not bouncing out.
That's only the beginning of disappointment.
Yeah, I am looking forward to it. I actually think Smash Brothers is going to be a thing again. I think you're going to see more Morty than you're going to see Death Guard. But, yeah.
Yep.
The Demon Prince himself, kind of a motherfucker. I mean, the dude's not fucking around. He's Demon Prince. You know what I mean?
He's not fucking around. But he is fucking around with his aura, his abilities, his lightning claws. He's fucking around with all that because apparently they thought those were too powerful. So for everybody who had 2 Malefic Talons, rip them off your models.
Yeah, you don't need more.
Because you're just going to want to take a sword.
3 flat damage. Still not playing. I do like the fact that the sword is putting him at strength.
It's not minus to hit anymore.
It's not minus to hit. Good. It's AP 3 damage, and it puts him at strength 8. You know what I mean? So you're wounded.
Yep.
You're wounded dudes on a deuce. Right. So
the only issue is why do you make my Demon Prince so fucking generic? He's not a basic bitch. He's a Demon Prince. Why is his aura the same as the next 4 data sleets we're going to go through? Why didn't they give him something different? Anything. I don't care. Literally any other aura other than he rerolls 1s for core units.
I think they're standard on that. I get you on that, though. Let's go
it's
down
just
to
so frustrating.
Well, let's talk about a dude that's got a whole bunch of unique shit, whether you like him or not. Typhus.
Typhus! Woo!
Whether you like Typhus or not, he's got a lot of rules. How about that?
Typhus. You'll notice on this data sheet, you see no Destroyer Hive. Apparently it was too difficult or too broken. The world will never know. He doesn't have it anymore.
He's got the host of the Destroyer Hive.
Yeah, right. So, let's get started. 4 up invul, awesome. +1 inches on movement, awesome. Plus
1 to strength
1
with
attack,
Poxwalkers.
awesome. And in your command phase, you can select the unit within 6. D6 on a 2+, they take D3. Awesome. So good. What a great ability. If only he wasn't 165 points for that ability, because that's literally the only reason that you want to take him. That ability. Master of those whose walks. Why? Just why? Why would you do this to me? Why would you destroy my ideas of playing a Poxwalker army by just making them +1 strength? Why? Why? Just so sad. So now he just gives +1 strength instead of +1 toughness. I would have even been happy with +1 attack. I would have been happy with a better feel no pain. I would have been happy with basically anything else but strength. We talked about how amazing strength is in 90% of the time.
And tell you the truth, for me, I feel, and we'll get that when we go to the Poxwalkers. I actually like a unit of Poxwalkers, but but that's not
take.
Right. No. I'm saying I like unit. I'm sorry. I like Poxwalkers. How about that? Period. However, if I get somebody that's buffing my Poxwalkers, I'm probably not just pushing them forward half the time. I'm just going to have them taking objectives.
Furnace. Oh, the furnace. We'll get to that fucking furnace.
Well, that's way down. Chaos
that's way down. You're gonna have to stay waters.
Death Guard Chaos Lord is a better Chaos Lord than any you've gotten before. I mean, he's T5, 5 wounds.
Yeah, 165 points makes it feel bad.
Correct. That's what I was supposed to say. He's the best Chaos Lord you've gotten, but he's very expensive compared to other, we'll just say, Marine characters. I don't
We're going to get to the bomb diggity that needs to be in every one of your lists.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying we're going a couple. This is one that I actually wanted to go on. I wanted to get a little TJ Salt in my life on that one because I compared this to all my Marine lists. I just because I have all my lists up. You know, I was building some Death Guard lists, and I had all my other lists saved. You know what I mean? I got all my Marine lists and shit like that. Sure. And I'm like, I don't spend $165 on any of my Marine characters, and all of the Marine characters I bring are equivalent to him or better.
So that's a frustrating thing that I again, you know, if you're going to compare it to a Space Marine book where people are like, well, we made restrictions because we don't want you to take more than one Lord. However, we have no upgrade for Chapter Master, so no one in the army gets full rerolls. Why is that? Well, we needed to restrict you guys from taking them because what? Because we did it to Space Marines. Well, Space Marines have auras that give +1 to hit / full rerolls. We don't have any of that. We get rerolls of once. That's our big jam. So that's kind of disappointing. So that's Typhus. Next we get to the Chaos Lord, another model
2 lords
that you'll never take.
Now let's go. I'll go all the way down to the Lord, the big Lord. We'll call him the Lav. The Lord of Run.
Sure. So you'll go past Chaos Lord. You don't want a Chaos Lord. You don't want a Death Guard Chaos Lord.
You just don't. The problem is, guys, the funny thing is like on the surface, if you're just looking and you weren't looking at the points also, you're like, oh, that guy's pretty good. But then you look at the points and you look at it compared to efficiency of other just characters in other books, and you're like, eh. And then you continue on.
He's 85 points for that Lord that does the same thing. You could just spend 40 points and put him in Terminator armor and give him 6 wounds and like give him 4+ invul and give him the double flamer weapon, which is why we're going to talk about the Lord of Virulence. Here we go. This guy is the bomb diggity. I don't even know why you would not take this guy in a list. You must know something I don't know, and that's called losing. So don't not take this guy. So here we go. Movement 5, 2+ weapon skill, 2+ ballistic skill, strength 4, toughness 5, 6 wounds, 5 attacks, leadership 9, 2+ armor. So we're already off the bat. 2+ armor, 2+ armor.
He's a 2 up 4.
And 6 wounds. I'm there. And like I said earlier, I give him the warlord trait that gives him 7 wounds, and you can only wound him on a 4+.
Holy shit!
Now he's a tank. So then we go to his flamer. 12-inch flamer, heavy, 2d6, but he doesn't care about heavy weapons, so he just ignores the heavy weapons rules anyway, because he's got the advance ability, which is what's the exact wording on this? Advance.
Well, the big thing on him too also is he's got 2 plague spinners, dude. So we already talked about the,
So this unit counts as remain stationary if it had not fallback or advance in your previous movement phase. Basically, well, he has extolable advance, so he literally just ignores all that stuff. So he can just advance and flamer every turn, no matter what. So amazing. And then what you can do with him is you can give him a pathogen, which you should, for 20 points, which then turns his flamer into a strength 6 flamer, -1 damage. So automatically hits, obviously it's a flamer. And then his claw, ×2 strength, -3, 2 damage, -3. Awesome. Good stuff, man. And then he has the same ability that everybody else has, rerolls of 1s. And then when units around him make a ranged attack, core units around him make a ranged attack, and he rolls of 6 to wound, get +1 AP, which comes in pretty handy every now and again. Gives you that little extra buff for something. So,
what are your thoughts on the old Lord of Contagions, sir?
He's the melee version, except like
he does have the Man Reaper. He's got the dual. Obviously, they gave him the profile for it.
He's not bad, and you'd probably like the only way I'd take him is if you put the relic on him. He needs the relic Man Reaper, like nobody's business. He needs the one that does 3 damage, which is.
I did get super excited about the Orb of Desiccation until you read
the Reaper of Glorious Entropy is what you want, which inflicts mortal wounds to the target in addition to normal damage. So that's the one you're probably going to want to take with him. But the orb is cool.
It's just once a game.
Once per game is really disappointing. Like I don't understand why they're so fixated on once per game abilities. Stop with the once per game shit. Like I don't even understand.
I'm not a guy. I've said that a lot of times. I tend to not spend points on once a game abilities because you've got a lot of choices to make anyways. And then something that once a game, unless the once a game ability is just super like OP.
Yeah. This one is not. It's not amazing.
That's what I'm saying though. Right. But it's okay. If this was like all the time, it still wouldn't. It would be great. But it's a
6-inch range. So
right.
Again, the issue I have with that is like he finally creeps his way up into the back lines. He finally makes it into the combat on like turn 3, and then you get a once per game ability, and then he's done. Like, god damn it, he literally just took 3 turns to get up there, and now he does it once and then he's done. Like, he should be able to use it for the whole game because he's probably only going to get to use it twice anyway. The most you could get to use him for is twice. Like, all right, so that's that guy. And again, the issue with him is like, I really get upset when you literally the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the first 6 data slates have the same aura ability. Like, that's just lazy. That is some lazy ass writing. You want to make Typhus playable? Give him full rerolls. You want to make the Lord of Contagion playable? Give him full rerolls instead. Because then that would make the Lord of Virulence and the Lord of Contagion 2 different slots. So at least you would say, okay, cool, I could understand why you take him. But instead, in typical Games Workshop fashion, just very lazy writing. It literally is the same. So that frustrated me a lot. I felt like I was actually reading the same data slate 5 times.
Then we've got a couple of casters, which I think they're just casters. I didn't see a lot to be.
They are just casters. The only cool thing that the Malignant Playcaster, you're never not going to want to take the Malignant Playcaster because the Terminator one is just expensive. You just take the Malignant Playcaster. He does that if you roll 7 or more. Closest model takes it.
Yeah, I mean, he gets that extra mortal. I mean, why wouldn't you take him? He's cheaper also, you know what I mean? So.
Yep, so you just take him. He's toughness 5. He has -1 damage.
Plague Marines are Plague Marines. I do like these guys at 2 wounds. I already take... These are intercessors, bro. I already take them.
So, Plague Marines is a lot. There's a lot to unload here.
I play a lot of Marines, bro. It's just you talk about a plague intercessor. I'm sorry, what did you say?
They're not plague intercessors because their guns aren't even 30 inches. They can't take 2 damage shooting guns either. They also don't get 4 attacks on the charge. Yeah, so not even close to an intercessor, but sure.
That would be an assault intercessor, the cheaper one. Thank you very much.
What do normal intercessors get on the charge? 3 attacks?
3 attacks.
Cool. We don't get that either.
Assault intercessors have the pistol, and the intercessors have the options for the different guns.
Yep. So we don't get 3 attacks either. We get 2 attacks. Mm-hmm. So we don't even get 3 attacks pop.
It sounds like assault intercessor.
Yeah. So the issue with this is, for some odd reason, they decided that they were going to alienate their community by basically invalidating the last 2 years of people building these things. So what I mean by that is people for the last couple of years have been taking them basically how the 8th edition book was. So they made full units of melee weapons. They made full, knife kits. They made maybe, some of the other upgrades in their units. And then Games Workshop was like, all right, guys, here's what we're going to do. We're going to write this insane war gear option chart. This data slate on the bottom this is what, like 15 lines to tell you how you can only make your Plague Marines do this one thing. So it's pretty in-depth. I would tell anybody who doesn't check data slates and just assume that things are hunky-dory to check this, because it is drastically different than what you have been playing your Marines for the last couple of years, unless you just played straight.
If you guys, like everybody's saying about the combination, what basically the comparison of them, effectively they come with a bolt gun and they come with a plague knife. The plague knife is effectively the same as an Astartes chainsword, except it doesn't get the extra attack, which I would definitely change. I would trade off rerolling 1s to wound for an extra attack every day of the week. So it's significantly worse than that. They are T5. They are T5,
-1 damage, 2 wounds.
Correct.
But the issue with them is, again, bolters. I mean, you're firing a bolter at somebody, and I really thought this was a missed opportunity for them, because these bolters should be plague weapons. It wouldn't really increase their power that crazy. They'd hit on 4s and then wound rerolling once. I mean, they wouldn't be insane at all to just be disease bolters.
If I could take a lot of weapons on these guys, I would like it a lot, because I do like the icon of a spare a lot.
Icon's great. The other icon is better, though. The sigil is the best. Sigil Decay is the best.
I'm saying, as far as just like getting in and just doing some extra, again, because
that automatically, every time you roll a 6 to hit, you automatically wound.
Yeah,
so
I'm just saying. I'm just looking for, like, again, I'm looking for all the mortals I can possibly find.
You will also notice some other things in this. You can only take 10 of these guys. You can't take 20 anymore. So that's also a big disappointment. Because I don't know why they felt like it was too much, but it is too much for that. Okay, guys, you got to calm down with your crazy Plague Marine list. If
we could take Death Company style or Vanguard Vet style, where everybody got a special weapon, I would actually like Plague Marines a lot better. And I don't hate Plague Marines, because I think they're a basic
bitch. Yeah,
they're basically but they're a durable little. They're the same thing that I take most of the time when I take my Marine armies. I take 3 units of 5 as my OBSEC in the middle. You know what I mean? Besides my rights battle, blah blah blah. But and these guys fit that role. But there was an opportunity for them to also have another role, because they could have gone, hey, if everybody can take an axe, a flail, or whatever, you would have at least an option. It might be an overpriced option, but I mean, it's an option to make a really nasty unit that runs out and does stuff, Death Company style kind of thing, Vanguard Vet style.
They could have made them Vanguard Vets. They could have made them. They could have made them. They could have made them super cool. Instead, basically, the champion can get a power fist.
The champion can get literally everything. It's just the fact that one guy
can get it. So that really is unfortunate, and you cannot get 2 Plague Knives, because apparently that was too crazy as well. And they don't give you +1 attack for having a Plague Knife, which is also really unfortunate as well.
Let's skip Cultist completely. because they don't exist anymore. No,
yeah, cultists don't exist anymore, guys. I forgot to tell everybody that. So they made them 5 points, and then they were like, "Why would you ever take these? Let's just show you what's up."
Yeah.
So we'll go to the next unit. Probably the best, probably the second best unit or the third best unit in the game.
Poxwalkers.
Poxwalkers, baby. Still get a 20-man.
Fearless. It's fearless.
Auto fearless. They still get their 6-up feeling pain. They can't do any actions because apparently they would also be too broken for actions. Except for spread the sickness. They can do spread the sickness.
And then the fact that they can still get dudes back. So
yeah, when they kill things in melee. So they are super good. They're 50 points for 10. You're going to want to take them. If you don't own any Poxwalkers,
they also now they're hitting on 4s. They're hitting on 4s also now.
Yeah. Go to the store, get them right now. They're also toughness 4. I can't tell you how much of a difference that is. Yeah. You're just going to have to see it on the table. How many times your opponent's like, I wound you on 3s. I'm like, nope, I'm strength 4. Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm toughness 4. And they're like, what?
T4 guys that are fearless are so good. Even dicking around, even 10-man squads just taking random backfield objectives. You have to kill them to the man. You just hide these dudes. Obviously, there's other things you can do. You can look into horde armies. You can do whatever. But as far as like a base of excuse me, a couple 10-man units, they're probably the best objective takers in this book. You know what I mean?
You're definitely going to want to take them. Now, we're going to get to the little sad panda part. Everybody hang out just for a second here. For some reason, Games Workshop decided that these guys moving 5 inches, because the rest of the book now moves 5 inches, was just too powerful. So now the whole mob of 20 guys only moves 4 inches. So when I said your army is slow, I wasn't lying. 4-inch Poxwalkers is going to take a long time to get somewhere. So they're mostly for backfield stuff. You're probably not going to get them up too far. And you can't warp time them because they also decided to not even give them Heretic Astartes. They don't have that keyword. That's not a thing.
They are literally guarding your backfield.
Yep, that's all they're there for. So
they're doing a good. They're doing a really good job of that, though.
Yes, very good job. Oh, and they're not core because that would be too broken if they were core. Because, like I said, Games Workshop wanted you to take Plague Marines, so they were like, "How can we do this? We can't just make them take Plague Marines. So we'll give them an option, which is Poxwalkers, but we're not going to make them core because maybe they'll take Plague
Let's talk a little bit about this noxious Blightbringer.
Yes, let's go. Again, he increases the movement, mover advance. It's just a weird way of writing it. I feel like they could have done a better job. So his thing says, units within 6 of this model, each time a unit is selected to make a move or advance until the end of the phase, add 1 to the move characteristics of the model in that unit. So what I mean by better writing is, does that buff the advance roll as well as the movement characteristics? Nobody knows. It's just bad writing. You can't tell if that actually is buffed by both rolls or just one. So, Brad, maybe you have an idea about that.
I think it's both because it says until the end.
Yeah, so it's a weird roll. I'm not really sure.
I think it's both because it's, you know what I mean. You go move and then they roll the advance. So I would say it's
so that would be +2 movement. That would make them means you're running your guys, which makes it a little difficult. And again, they only affect core units, so your Poxwalkers are still only moving 4 inches plus a d6. This is the character that we talked about, which is super powerful, has one of the best relics in the game that you'll never use. So, unfortunately.
Let's talk
-1
about
to Psychers within 6 inches is pretty cool for Psyche tests. And the combat attrition is subtract 1 for the combat attrition test taken. So that means if you lost half your army, you roll on 1, 2s, and 3s, you lose models. All that shit sounds amazing, except then you realize that this guy has to be in the front lines, running around, ringing a fucking bell on his head.
He's not doing that.
He's not doing that. So you're not going to do that. So next guy.
He also gets pounded out. He's got a 3-up save. He's just hanging out.
He's not even. So for some odd reason, they decided that even though he's basically wearing Terminator armor, he doesn't actually have Terminator armor.
Let's talk about the Judiciary. I mean, the Foul Blightspawn.
Okay, so Foul Blightspawn is the bomb diggity. We're actually having an argument right now. I would say argument. We're having a in-depth conversation right now, not an argument, about whether or not this guy is better than the Putrefier or not? Like, which one should you take in the army? Because I don't want to take 7 characters in my army. I'd like to keep that number at a roaring 6. So, so what he does is,
3 inches fight
right.
last.
I forgot. Okay, so we've reached the middle of the segment of this stream. I'd like to apologize to everybody for the past wrongs that I did to my opponents while playing this unit in previous editions that made it so he was so powerful that he needed to be nerfed. I apologize to everybody. I'll try to be more diligent with my models, because this one's on me, boys. I apologize. Running 2 foul blight spawns in every game.
He's Judge. He's literally Judge Judy. It's the same thing. It's the same thing.
He's better than Judge Judy. He's Judge Judy with the Silent King. So if you take the relic on him, which if you're going to take one of these guys, you do.
Yeah,
that means
so you
that
have to.
While every unit, while an enemy unit is within 6 of the bearer, they cannot use any rules that allow it to fight first and never count as making a charge. So 100% better than both Judge Judy and the Silent King, because now you don't even get Shock Assault. You don't get Shock Assault. So your Space Wolves don't hit on 2s, they hit on 3 still. And, it's super powerful. That's the relic for him. His normal ability is to start a fight phase, select one enemy within 3. That unit is not eligible to fight until everyone else is fought. So literally just better. Just amazing.
Now, let's go to my, possibly, besides the Morty page, my favorite page in the entire book. Because we're going to talk about the Putrefier and the Tallyman, who are
so this is the argument here. Is a Putrefier required in every list? Take a look. Let's see.
This is, I'm going to say before we even describe him, because again, I'm going for one without max mortal wounds in my army, and I think this dude's the shit.
He's good. He's very strong. I just don't know if I want to take him over. The Flamer Bro. I think that having some range damage is definitely a little better. I don't think that another character that buffs your melee is like super important yet, but we are looking. He is currently in the list, but I'm on the fence about keeping him in the list. So here we go. He is Blight Grenades. He adds +1 AP and +1 damage characteristic, makes them damage characteristic 2 and -1 AP. I don't know why they didn't just leave it increasing the strength, but we'll never know. Apparently that was too powerful. Strength 4 grenades are too much. It has to be strength 3. And no more mortal wounds, by the way. That's not a thing anymore. They don't do mortal wounds, unfortunately. So when this model is destroyed, he's got the same thing as before. On a 4-up, he explodes, does a mortal wound. And then once per turn, at the start of your charge phase or fight phase, you can select one friendly core unit within 6 of this model until your next command phase. Each time a model in that unit makes a melee attack with a plague weapon, an unmodified wound roll of a 6
It's a mortal wound?
does a mortal wound in addition to any other. Why this is good is if you're following here, you don't have to stay in his range to keep the aura.
Right.
So you can start at the start of the fight phase and then consolidate or pile in so that you get all the attacks that you want to get. So that's super good. He's only 65 points. So what a steal for 65 points.
So he's a T5 4-wound guy. You know what I mean? Not doing a whole lot of mojo besides that.
Sure, but you're, raw power is definitely, he's just a modifier to your army. He adds a modification to the army, which does more damage. So he's very good for 65 points. All right. And he makes that strat that gives all 3 of your characters, or 3 things, grenades, super powerful. Because now they're 2 damage grenades that are -1 AP. So he's definitely a force multiplier. All right. Now we get to
Hey, Mr. Tallyman, telling me banana.
So, most improved unit in the book. This guy is the most improved unit in the book. And I know people are going to say that Morty's the most improved, but like Morty was already good.
He's already pretty good.
He just got 100% better. This guy started at like a 20, and now he's like 120. He literally got a whole level better. So, 4 wounds, toughness 5. Normal, same guy as the top. Okay, he's got a plasma pistol, fine, whatever. Cool. So, first things first, you put a relic on him called a Toll Keeper. It gives every plague weapon around you. When you roll a roll of a 6, it gives you an additional hit. Okay, I'm already all in. Let's do it.
But dude, the fact that he just goes, hey, you're +1 to hit is huge.
So then we do his second ability, which is in your command phase, you roll 2 dice. At the start of the command phase, roll 2 dice. Roll a 7+. You just get a CP. It's that easy.
Yeah.
Now, guys, I'm already taking him. Tell me more. What else could he possibly
hold on,
do?
though. You remember, this is why he's so vastly improved also, though, because his old ability was roll exactly a 7.
Correct. It wasn't even that. It was 100 times worse than what you just said. It's even worse than that. It could only be a Death Guard stratagem, and when the Death Guard stratagem was used, then roll 2 dice. If the number is exactly a 7, you got it. So it didn't even work on your opponent's shit. It didn't even work on the CP rerolls or rerolling an armor save or anything like that. It had to be a Death Guard stratagem only.
It was just so poo.
So now you just roll 2 dice on a 7, it goes. You get an extra CP. Cool. What else could this guy possibly do? Well, in the command phase, you select 1 unit that's core, and you just give him +1 to hit. Oh, okay. Well, is it +1 to hit for everything? Yeah, +1 to hit. Shooting, melee, whatever, just +1 to hit. Okay. Again, does not need to stay in the aura range for your ability. It just goes off, and then you're done. He can go off and do stuff, right?
Fire and forget, baby. Love it. I love that ability. It's so huge.
So it's amazing. So now if you're following, we have 2 different ways to make our Terminators +1 to hit. There's a 1 CP strat and this guy. Okay, cool. This is good. Let's go to the next page.
Plague Surgeon, yo.
Super disappointment, but super good as well. You're still going to take this guy. However, why they don't do the same thing as Space Marine surgeons or apothecaries, I'll never know.
You want a chief apothecary, a selfless healer plague surgeon?
I just want someone who brings back a model if there's no one wounded in the squad. I don't even care if it comes back with 1 wound on it. That literally doesn't matter to me. Like, I don't need anything crazy. I just wanted to be able to bring a model back. Like, I don't understand why that was so, like, taboo, but yet you gave it to all the Space Marine players. So anyway, what this guy does is everybody within 3 inches gets a 6-up Feel No Pain, who is core. So, I'm sorry, not core, just infantry. Bubonic Astartes infantry. So all your characters will get it. And then he can heal one of your characters. So if that Lord of Virulence walks up to a squad, wounds himself, does 2d3 mortal wounds, the surgeon can go and give him a band-aid for his boo-boo and heal him back up to full. So they heal d3. That's super good. And then it's within 3 inches, but you're going to take the helm to make it 6 inches.
Yep.
Or not.
You're definitely extending that out. -1 damage with a 6-up Feel No Pain is still pretty fucking good. So you definitely want this to go around.
And now,
Battle of the Terminators, yo. We've got Blightlord and Death Shroud.
Now the best part of
I'm going to start putting guys together because eventually I'm going to go hang out with Brittany. And if I don't, she will murder me, and I don't want to die.
Oh, okay. So we have what? Really just...
Terminators are fantastic, dude. What do you think?
Well, you have like what, 10 minutes? Do you
No. I want to keep going. I just don't. We're gonna start skipping because we're gonna get into Terminators, which I think are great. But then we're also going to talk about.
Well, there's not much to talk about with the Terminators, other than the fact that if you're following, Again, what I said, Games Workshop wanted to alienate their people and only allow you to take one of everything because apparently a full squad of combi plas is too broken, or any of that other stuff. So now you can only take one plasma, or one combi flamer, or one multi-melta, or one Reaper autocannon, or one blight launcher. So basically, the blight launcher is good. It's 2-shot, strength 6, neg 2 damage. So that's good. You're going to want to take probably one of those in your squad. You probably only want to keep it on a 5-man, and then you're just going to take a flail. So that's probably what you want. And then obviously anything that's 3 wounds, -1 damage is super strong. 3 attacks apiece, so that means the flail gets 6 attacks. If only there was a way to buff it to 8 attacks, or maybe even 10 attacks. I don't know, though. Nothing in this book, anyway. Maybe I'll have to ally something in. Who knows, though. So that's those guys. 4-up invul, everything else is the same. So these guys are my favorite part of the book. They're core. They are core. They allow you to take as many Poxwalkers as you want. They are a ratio number. So for every one of these guys, you can take a unit of Poxwalkers. So that's how you're not going to play. That's how you're going to play Death Guard without taking Plague Marines. You're just going to take these guys instead.
Who I still wish had the ability to take a bunch of weapons, but we won't go. I won't.
Yep, me too. So now we go to the next ones. Death Shrouds, awesome. Super, super good, except that they no longer buff Morty because he's too good for him. Apparently, at the beginning of the battle, Morty was like, "You guys go help out the other guys. I'm good."
I thought this was such a weird thing because, like, for instance, Dark Angel's command squads don't care about your wound characteristic, do they not?
Yeah, but Dark Angel squads don't have a Primarch. I feel like if they had a Primarch, it would be different. I understand why they did this. However, they've been chalking this guy up. They've been chalking these guys up to be bodyguards for the longest time. Even if it was something like they can only shrug 1 wound to turn off, or a certain amount of wounds, like only one of the models can be, you can only do a maximum of 3 wounds, whatever, would be fine. But unfortunately, they don't. You're going to take the Chimes of Contagion if you're playing Mono Death Guard, because that adds +3 inch range to all your Contagion abilities to a maximum of 12. Plague Spurt, Strength 3, 1 damage. It's unfortunate why they're not Strength 4. I don't really understand why they're just not Strength 4.
I was really weird. I just, either that or just make them poison. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, I mean, they're Plague weapons. Cool. They're pistols, so I guess you can fire them into combat. Cool. But, I mean, Sisters have Strength 3 hand flamers. Why a guy carrying a Terminator who's been alive for hundreds of years doesn't have a Strength 4? He hasn't figured out how to get Strength 4 flamers.
Also, I'm not gonna lie, by fluff, when you read it, they literally have the most toxic pathogens in the universe in those flamers. So yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's just weird. So anyway, that is that book. That is those guys. Sorry. They still have a bodyguard ability. It just only helps out the other characters. They gave them a Scythe profile and a Cleave profile. Amazing. This is probably one that if you were taking a squad of these guys, you want to give them the champion bonus to bump them up. They're 150, so they're 50 points a pop. I like them. I like the other guys better because I think the other guys are cheaper. 40 points for those guys. These guys feel a little for 10 points. I feel like they're 10 points more expensive because they have 2 different weapon profiles, and
I do like that. I do like the Cleave a lot, though, just because of the fact that you can multi. I like hybrid units a lot. Just to
they're good. They're definitely very, very strong. Hellbrute. Okay, next page.
I was just about to say you don't get to talk about that. I would bleep you.
Possessed. Wow. So again, if everyone who finally gets their book will now know the terrible truth that Games Workshop doesn't want you to know. They don't know how to write Games Workshop articles because these guys only have 2 wounds.
What?
So
I do remember that
there's
article.
not much to talk about here. Unfortunately, this is really kind of a fail for them because they really their core at least. That's cool. But they don't have
they do have a volume of attacks.
Weapons.
It's a plague. They do have a lot of attacks, and it is a plague weapon, so you will be rerolling.
It's 4. I mean, they're 4 attacks a pop. That's great. You can only have 10 in a squad. That feels bad, especially for how expensive they are. They're 24 points a model for a guy that only has 2 wounds. That just feels bad. I don't know how else to say that. That feels too expensive, especially when we just went past probably two of the best units in the game, in the book.
The fact that they can't get a 2-up is kind of bothersome because a lot of the things that you're going to be going against, say Vanguard veterans, Blade Guard veterans, and stuff like that, things that are in the same ballpark of what you're trying to do with this, do win all the exchanges with them right now because of the fact. So
1 damage just hurts.
Yeah,
1 damage hurts.
The 1 damage hurts, and there's only the reroll ones on it, so it's not a lightning claw rerolling everything.
Right, and now we got rid of blades, like the real blades. So without real blades, they don't really do as much damage. So that's a problem.
We are just looking over the new Death Guard Codex for Warhammer 40k. I decided to not change the Hearthstone tag for today. The best part about it was I played 2 days of Hearthstone and put the Warhammer tag on it. And then when I do Warhammer, I put the...
So now we go to Chaos Spawn, 23 points a model. Kind of touched on this earlier. The only way I'd play these guys is if I gave them the strat to make them toughness 6, because then that makes them much better.
I do like the damage
it's funny
too.
To note here that they decided to keep the D3 random chart, because if you look at most of the other book, they've gotten rid of a lot of the randomness of Chaos. Like we don't have a Chaos Spawn. A Chaos, when we kill a character, we get to roll on the Chaos chart. They don't even have that anymore. So you can see they've gotten rid of a lot of the randomness in the book, but yet they kept Chaos Spawn. So they're good, but they're beasts, which means they can't go through walls. That's rough, and they are not, they're not core.
2 damage, no core, not going through walls. The bonus is 2 damage is still there, But the down things are, I would rather just, if I was going to pay for some models on that, I'm not going to lie, it's crazy that they do.
And no invul. They have no invul. They only have a 5-up armor.
It's just hard for me not to say that I would just take more Terminators and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean,
wow. We're actually in agreement for something. Yeah. Terminators. All right, Blight Haulers. I feel bad for people who took 9. I really apologize that you bought 9 of these things because you really, really like them, because in the new book they are just... expensive. Not there. 140 points for a model that basically is an attack bike does not feel good.
It's a real durable attack bike, though.
They also changed their melee. They no longer have a 2 damage melee weapon.
I was just going to say that the 1 damage weapon, meh. The guys that I am excited about are the next thing, though, because I do like.
So Floating Blight Drones are great. They're really good in points. The only issue that I have with these bad boys is they're the first thing cut in the list every time. You're like, fuck, I need points, or oh man, everything's so good and it's I don't have any points for stuff. These guys are 130 points. I think they're 100 and something for the flesh mowers, another 5 points, so 135 points. Honestly, they're the first thing cut. Now, are they bad? No, they're awesome. They're great, except 9 wounds, 4 attacks. You get an extra 3 attacks instead of 1 with this weapon. So 4 attacks makes 12 attacks, right? 3 attacks hit rolls instead of 1. No. Yes. It's a plague weapon. Each time an attack is made with this weapon.
Yeah, it's 12 attacks. Flesh mower.
Right.
I think they just have a volume of attacks. That's why I like anything that lets me roll a lot of dice.
Right. So I mean, it's a 2 damage. It's +1 strength, -2.
It's another thing that I can possibly get mortals off of. You know what I mean? It's a plague weapon.
Yeah. I mean, they're good. Again, they're very good. My issue with them is survivability. 9 wounds, toughness 7, just feels like an Eradicator's wet dream. They just blow them off the table on turn 1. The other issue is that you're going to want to get close, and they really want you to get close. The other issue is 5-up invul. Yeah, they're going to die very quickly. Oh, and at least they kept their discussing resilience. So at least they have discussing resilience. So that's at least good. So that's those 2 guys. I like them. They're not bad. They move 10 inches. They hit on 3s.
I just like they're fast. You know what I mean? They're fast. They've got fly, and they've also got fly. That's a big deal because you can hide them and then zoom through.
Yep. So now we get to
crawlers.
This one hurts. So we got crawlers. They went down in points because they went down in effectiveness. The main reason why is because they no longer have their 4-up invul. They have a 5-buff invul because they can't get that relic. They can't that relic doesn't really only works on 1 unit, so you're not going to take 3 anymore. It's not an aura. The cannons got much better. Cannons, heavy 1.
They're also BS3.
Strength 8, egg 4, D3, D3 plus 3. Basically, will kill whatever it touches. And the mortar got much better. Because with that strat,
BS3 is nice.
What's up?
BS3.
Yes, BS3. You can make it flat 3 damage for their blast weapon, and do mortal wounds around it. So I think the new play with these guys is 1.
I was just about to say that. I think 1 Plague Bridge Crawler is the deal, because if you're not spending the CP on it, it feels like it's not as good. You know what I mean? Yeah.
So you'll take 1 if you take any at all. And again, I'm not super sold on these guys. Like, they're good, but 2 shots with the las cannon feel bad, and having to spend a CP on it as well almost every turn also feels bad. So these are the issues that I have with these guys. They're great, but I'm not sure that I'm going to spend it. So then we got
regular tank. Let's go down to Defiler. Go down to Defiler.
Right past Night Raiders. We're going to go right past both the Predators. Those, unfortunately, are going to stay on your shelf. Defilers got worse and got better at the same time. They're just in a weird spot. I just think they're too expensive for what they do. They're 180 points now, and they're 14 wounds, but they just don't feel good. They feel like they're in a weird spot. You're basically going to want to give them probably the Defiler Scourge, which gives you 3 additional attacks with this weapon. So that will give you a total of 8 attacks. So it gives you 8 attacks, plus 4 strength, neg 2 damage. It's weird to note that I'm punching you with fucking mechadendrites that are on a ridiculously large tank, and it only does 2 damage flat. I don't know why that's a thing. It should be flat 3, not 2, but it is what it is. The claws are still good. They got rid of the -1 to hit for the claws, like when you use the claws. So it's strength times 2, neg 3, d6. It's pretty good. It makes 3 additional attacks with this weapon. So you make 5 with the claws and then 3s with the Scourge. That feels weird. They should let you just roll everything on the Scourge if you want.
They've already had that. It's Defiler's still good. It's just
again, there'll be probably something you end up cutting in the list because
I'm not gonna lie. I'll give the last thoughts when we go into kind of just feels of what where my head both our heads are at for lists and stuff like that. Sure. A rhino's a rhino. Let's talk more. Let's close the show. Well, actually, we're not going to close the show because we're not going to show.
Let's go. We got 2 more. We got 2 more things to talk about.
We got Mortarion to talk about.
Mortarion.
Whoo!
Stop what you're doing right now. If you don't own a Morty, go out to the shop and pick one up right the fuck now. If your list does not start with Morty or end with Morty, you're not doing it right. I don't know what else to say. I think we said all the things we're going to say about how powerful he is.
He's with the 4th warlord trait. He's looking at no rerolls, no Overwatch, a 5-up invuln, rerolling fucking all the plague weapons, either shots, in 12 inches or the dude's a motherfucker. He's got 7 base attacks, which he can again scythe out, so he can do 3 per if you'd like to. So if you're facing a horde, you can literally face a horde with Mortarion by himself. That's with no buffs.
Yep.
This dude doesn't fuck around.
Yep. He also gives characters a reroll that they normally didn't get. Again, it does feel weird again, that yet again, I feel like just Shoddy Games Workshop writing that it's another unit that gives you reroll once. Like, can we do a full reroll with 1 character in the whole book?
Well, he can assign a reroll. He can assign reroll in the command phase.
He can assign one to a character or core unit. You can reroll the hit roll.
Yep, it's all of them.
So he does it, but again, he has to be, 6 inches away? Yeah, so you can do it on turn 1, and then you'll never see Morty again, because he's going to outpace your entire army. Host of Plagues, that's the Warlord trait. We don't need to know about that. When he explodes...
I like the fact that he does start his turn 4 if you are playing pure Death Guard, mono Death Guard,
Well, even if you're not playing mono Death Guard, he still gives your Contagion that you pick for your warlord trait.
Sorry, the 4, but it's just he's just got the long distance dedication. He's just they also he's
a monster.
I mean his regular attacks. If you don't sweep with his attacks, he's strength 16, AP -4, 3+ D3 damage per.
Yeah, I mean, he'll kill whatever he touches, even if your opponent tried to transhuman. 7 attacks is just going to rip through something. So that's that. And then his grenades, which is hilarious, his grenades are not once per use. They work every turn. So just another funny thing that they made all these relics that are once per game or on a characters, but his are like, I just own all these Phosphex grenades.
And he still has the attendant's claws and teeth for a D6 extra little...
Yeah, just a little plink damage if you didn't kill something or, you know.
And it is a plague weapon still, so that's nice. Because he's rerolling all the wounds on it, so.
So, well, he's not rerolling anything. He's just rerolling once.
Yeah, true. But
he doesn't arch himself. I wish he did. He doesn't.
Yeah. Then he's just a son of a bitch, guys. So let's talk about these terrains.
What a weird unit. So first, hot take immediately on this. It's not good. I'll explain why it's not good. It's not good because it's 12 wounds and has a 3-up armor, and it doesn't get an invul save, and it's only toughness 8. So if your opponent wants it dead on turn 1 because they can't shoot anything, it will just die because you're not going to put it in your deployment zone. You're going to want to put it somewhere in the middle of the table, which means your opponent will just shoot it to death. And it's 85 points, so it's going to die very quickly.
If it was cheaper, I do like it for pushback.
Yeah, on rules, it is quite good. So allowing them to be an obstacle terrain means that everybody near you gets light cover. Everybody near them gets light cover. If they already have light cover, it gives them it's light cover, heavy cover, unstable position, difficult ground. It allows you to get -1 to the hit roll. So having your Terminators all -1 to hit while moving up the table and having cover, would be really, really strong. But
why isn't this? Here's a question for you, really quick. Why isn't this just a piece of terrain like the tree?
I don't understand.
You know what I'm saying? Like this would be amazing, and I would pay the points for it in a second if I could deploy it, and it was just a small piece of terrain. You know what I mean? If it was a tree,
yep.
If it operated like a tree that forward deployed, I take that all day long.
Yep. So unfortunately not. So that's that. Now we'll go to your initial thoughts.
My initial thoughts, trying to be Death Guard mono, just to try to get all the bonuses and everything else out, is that I'm going to take an all infantry army with probably a bloat drone and maybe one plague burst crawler, and bring a shit ton of dudes on foot with Poxwalkers taking my objectives. That's kind of my first kind of obviously Mortarion. With the characters, I mean, there's a decent amount of good characters in there. 6-up Fatal Pains, Mortal Wounds, Tallyman, you know what I mean? Just there's a decent amount of guys that are force multipliers in there, and that's kind of where I've made several lists that are all obviously first week list, first couple days list. You know what I mean? As far as that.
So I mean that's definitely my.
But that's a very Marine centric, and I know you're not a big fan of that because you are more of a chaos all comers. Bring everybody. You unite the tribes.
I would say that if you're not running Death Guard with Warp Time and Morty, I don't know what you're doing. You might as well just have your fun while you can, because you know it's not going to stay. You know it's getting fucking nerfed. So just have fun now. Warp Time all your characters. Take them all out to dinner with a Warp Time. And really just enjoy yourself. So I'm taking all the Terminators. Like, all of the Terminators.
That's kind of where I am with that. Literally, if you're not a Poxwalker, you're a Terminators.
Yeah, you take Morty and you take... and then that's it. That's my list. There's some little nuances in there, but basically Warp Time is super strong. And I mean, if you're gonna play Morty, you take Warp Time.
But I think we can talk about the nuances, right? Like, why not?
There's
what
something
nuances?
There's
small nuances.
There's something to be said
with
for
my list.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know about that. Come on
let's,
now.
Let's just we've already listened to this for so long. You gotta tell us.
Only Rich has listened to it. Brad doesn't even know what my list is.
I do not know what your list is.
So, okay, that was coins on. See this guy right here, Brad? See this guy? See this dude?
Fabius Bile, my friend.
See this guy on the front page? This is my new Death Guard. This is Death Guard's best buddy right now. He's a pimp. He's gonna walk around with the Death Guard, and he's just gonna make them all powerful, like real powerful.
I can see the thing is that my first is to try to think to make the mono book because I want to have all the CP, I want to have the contagions, I want to work, but you probably souping because I mean almost all it feels like always chaos starts at 2 detachments and works from there.
Yeah,
but
this one's 3 detachments. I think Bill makes Terminators insane. I think 4 attack Terminators are redonkulous. I think you just crush things.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie. Just bringing Poxwalkers, Morty, Terminators, and like I said, dabbling in the other stuff. Like I said, 1 PPC, probably. You know what I mean? To drop the 3 damage on stuff. I do like the Fetid Blow Drone a lot. Just because it's another thing that again I can bump in more mortal wounds. You know what I mean? And I like trying to literally get all the things that give me more mortal wounds, just to up my output.
That's where my list is at. I mean, I think Warp Time is definitely essential in the list, so I took Warp Time. And the list starts with 5 CP. I mean, you don't need more than that. I mean, there's nothing wrong with taking 5 CP. I could probably do 8 if I wanted to take another character from Death Guard, but I don't. So we just take a Vanguard because you just want 1 Lord of Contagion. I don't even want another Sorcerer. I mean, I guess I could take a Sorcerer, but I don't really see the point in that. Yeah, and then you just kind of run around the table and kill everything with your Terminators because they're amazing. Warp Time allows them to move around the table and grab objectives. I mean, I think that's super strong for right now. I think that's where it's going to be for a while now. So my only concern is like the little nuances, try to finish up exactly where I want to end my list at. But there is a concern for maybe playing Monster Mash. You know, the bros want to get out and play, and Morty just works by himself.
He's a one-man gang. That dude can just play again.
Yeah, I mean, you can easily play my normal list that I was playing before, and you just take out the pink horror bomb that you were playing before, and or I guess you take out the Nurglings and leave the pink horror bomb. You take out all the Nurglings, and then you just kind of run with Maggie, Morty, and you know, a Lord of Change, and you just kind of kill everybody, kill all the things. So that's another thing that might happen. I might try that list and see how it plays. I can't imagine it's going to play badly because Morty just could solo. Morty on his own could solo an army, and then we have all the mortal wounds coming in from the rest of the army. I feel like that's just a crazy list.
I mean, the shenanigans, you get a lot of decent trades because of the extra mortal wounds. So it feels like it seems like I get a favorable trade. Just because of the sheer amount of just random mortal wounds here and there. You know what I mean? It always felt like, hey, here, take this damage and 3-4 mortal wounds. Here's a couple more, you know what I mean? Just, you were always nickeling and diming on stuff. So it felt good on that. So I mean, that's kind of where I am is literally, like I said, Poxwalkers, Terminators, Morty.
That's it.
Add in auxiliary shit as you go. And obviously, once you see that you're slow, you probably want to Warp Time. I'm not gonna lie. So,
yeah, I mean, unfortunately, like I know Games Workshop really wanted to make it work, but it does not work. Like you're just too slow. Rhinos, I see people in the chat talking about rhinos, and like they just get annihilated. Like you're just gonna die from like Brad's list currently. His Space Marine list is 9 Plasma Inceptors and 3 Eradicators with attack bikes. Turn 1, every rhino that you had on your side of the field is dead. You just spent... Oh, and there are also 80 points of rhinos, so you just spent like 400 points, and Brad killed it all in turn 1. Thanks, Brad. Way to be an asshole.
And you guys all now move 5 inches.
Yeah, and now your whole army's like, what do? And then you're spending 500 points on Morty.
Yeah, that does.
And then warp time. So now 1,000 of your points are basically just on the other side of the field. And Brad's like, okay. Now next turn, Morty gets killed because I'm going to shoot everything into Morty, and there's no pressure on me at all.
And I'm also backing up. So.
Yep, and back up to the edge of the table, and that's the end of that. So, I mean, and then you'll find every game looks kind of like that.
Yeah.
So while I think the -1 toughness is awesome, it just doesn't have a place unless you can give me some way to...
I'm not going to lie, though. I do actually really like the Terminators, the Poxwalkers, and Morty. And then
they're great.
And adding things in. I do like... he's been in and out of the list, the original list that I was in, the PBC. And I do like the Fetid Blow Drone. Just because I like having something that has a little more speed than the rest, even if you don't have a warp... Because he can take out nonsense units taking things, you know what I mean? Because he sweeps.
Yeah, that might be the list that we take for the Nope Open. Might just be Morty, some Warp Time, some Fabius Bile, and that it. The second list is like, do I just play Monster Mash? Yeah. Do I just play Monster Mash and just say fuck it and just run around with a whole bunch of Mortal Wounds? And Brad goes, I think I can kill one of these a turn, maybe, hopefully.
I see. The thing is that it's. I think Mortal Wounds are such an equalizer, especially when you're in a bad matchup. Though that's again the reason why I like having just more options for Mortal Wounds, because sometimes you're just in a shitty matchup or the mission's just shitty for you, and then if you just keep adding up Mortal Wounds on those guys that are tough to kill, and you can slowly just start grinding people down, and I like that idea a lot. So that's where we're at. I think that's what we're going to end up taking. So one of those lists you'll see. For the stream we're going to do in 2 weeks. Big stream weekend.
Super exciting.
Boom.
Super exciting stuff.
Get excited.
We'll be all over the place too. It's fantastic. We'll be everywhere. We're like savoir-faire.
Yeah, so we're gonna try this. We're gonna see what happens. I will have a list probably in by this evening. Figure out what I want to play, and then we'll.
I still kind of want to do 2 out of 3, man.
I would have to know what list I want to take.
No. I'm saying when we play though, just to have more time, more fun, more games on the stream. Yeah, fuck it.
Sure.
I love stuff. I love games. I like playing with my toys.
That's fine. Yeah, I mean, I want to test lists, so maybe not the same list, but yeah.
And like Flynn Brothers. Well, everybody, thanks for hanging out with us. We're talking about all our first Mojo Death Guard things. TJ had a few things that he was slightly irritated with. I didn't know if you picked up on that, but he. I love everything about how I started it too. I feel that was money in the bag.
It just comes down to TJ's just so passionate about chaos.
You're not wrong. I'm not trying. I don't even think Rich is being an asshole. Like, I am very passionate about my faction. It is my favorite faction. I play them exclusively, and I want them to be good. I want their fluff to make sense.
Well, that's the thing is there's a couple things. The funny thing is that I think there's more hits than misses, but the misses were big misses. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they had some very big misses.
Yeah.
And I think you upset. I think you're going to upset some people with this book. Some of the diehard fans, because even the Crusade fans, like the fans that I have, the fans that Death Guard players have, that are like, oh, I play Death Guard just for fun, are like, so I traded my whole book for Terminators and Mortarion, and they're like, yeah, that's yeah, you did. Okay, well, I didn't want that. I'm like, well, it doesn't matter what you wanted, you get it. So that's unfortunate. I just hope that they learn something from this and maybe make some adjustments on the next book and maybe listen a little more to what people.
And I'm not going to lie, I know this is me beating a dead horse, but I really, really feel that Chaos needs a core book, just like Space Marines, that you basically get stuff out of, and then you have supplements from there that have their own flavor. You know what I mean?
Yeah, if you want me to run Mono Death Guard, give me more units than just what you have.
No, that's what I'm saying. If you had a CSM core book, just like Space Marines have a core book.
If I had access to a Master Possession, maybe Possess would be better. If I had access to a Sorcerer who gave me Warp Time, the whole book would be much better.
That's where my head's at, because you see it in space. But the thing is Space Marines are wildly popular because they have so many options, and then they have their supplement books, which give you even more options for your particular chapter. So you can, and the thing is it's very easy. They've already done it in Marines. If you don't want certain things to be done in a book, they've already done that. Hey, Templars can't take this. Hey, Wolves can't take this. You know what I mean? It's super easy to just say, hey, you have access to this main book, and you don't get, X, Y, and Z, because that's not.
Yeah, that's what's up.
So,
but I mean, that's I think where we're at right now. I think everybody's kind of the same thing. We're gonna get some books, from Chaos soon. Maybe some help. I know they talked about a supplement for us coming, Psychic Awakening of sorts, a campaign book coming soon. So hopefully that will fix some of these issues, like the apothecary thing, or maybe like making your Foul Blightspawn go back to 3 damage, but one of the models, like Chief Apothecary shit, like give rolls to your Lord of Contagion maybe, or your Demon Prince. That would make the army feel a little better. Right now I feel like it's missing something, you know what I mean? Like it's just it's right at the tip of being a very, very strong book, but mono book. But maybe these little adjustments will fix the book and make it a little better.
I agree on that. So
just the tip, baby.
Just the tip. You know what? We're gonna end it at Rich's just the tip. I see no better way than to end with just the tip.
Thank you, TJ, and watch these awesome Titans of
end of this month on the Nopen.
Yeah, that's right.
We will be streaming, and it'll be awesome. So
it will be great.